Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brenda Mahale. I'll be facilitating today's topic, which is staying productive online. I'm not alone. I'm with my moderator, who's going to be Dudu Zindevele. That will be our moderator for today. If you have any of questions or any comment that you would like about our today's session, please don't hesitate, engage with us on our chat box. So the topic of today is staying productive online. How do you stay productive online? So now let's move on. Our agenda of today, we'll be talking about set up your remote office, build a productive work environment, manage and maintain your well-being. So these are the three agendas that we'll be talking about on our today's session. So please be reminded of our free bootcamp that is available from Google. You can sign up for Google Hustle Academy if you own a small business and you are ready to scale. Please use the link that is provided on your screen right now. When you have a small business and you are ready to scale, please just use the link that is provided on your screen right now. So now let's get into the business of today. We all, actually the whole world, and some of the part, we are still encountering COVID-19. So the time of COVID-19, how did it impact your role? The time we were locked down, we were on level 1, level 2, until we were on level 5. So how did COVID-19 impacted your role as a person? How did it impacted your role on your career? Please use our chat box for your comment, and then let's hear your story on how did it actually impacted you. How did it impact your role in your offices? How did you manage to send some files? How did you communicate? So please use our chat box to do what, to tell us your story about the how did COVID-19 affected you. Please use our chat box. And thank you so much for those who managed to join our session today. So I hope that a lot of things you'll be learning, because there is some of the facts as we are moving along that I will be teaching you, and it will be more important for your business or individual information. So now let's talk about set up your remote office. How do you going to set up a remote office? How did you manage to get it in there? So now when we're talking about the working remotely, we are talking about how did he actually, we all not in our traditional offices, but what we do is that we are now working from home, or we are working from a place where it's more comfortable for us, but we are not inside our workplace. So working remotely, actually, it's more of a concept that work does not need to be done in a specific place. So the work that you are busy with is the work that other people, you are working into a place where is not even at your workplace. So now let's move on to another side. So there is different places where you can work. So you can work at home, you can work at the coffee shop. If you're not easily distracted, you can work at the coffee shop, where you can able while you are working, you can sip some coffee, and then you can able to know what that time, maybe it will even help you not to be thinking too much when you are inside the house. And also another place that you can work remotely is a co-working space. So when you're talking about co-working space, are the freelancers where and the remote workers, but where it is fee for dedicated desk can be costly. And then you can also go to the libraries, unless you're not doing what I'm doing right now, facilitating, because most in the libraries you find that they don't want any noise. So all the people, they are concentrating, they are working. And libraries, they are good place where uh, um, those who are easily distracted, it will be good for them because there's not lot of noise, there's less of movement. And also libraries has everything that you now want. Now they even upgraded it to where you can find a free Wi-Fi where you can do more of your research when you are working, when you are doing your work or something else. Okay, now I have another question that I would like all those who attended with us right now, that what do you need to work remotely? Because you can't just say, okay, we have maybe challenges. There is a renovation at the office that we are working, or something just came up that you need to work at home. What is it that you need to work remotely? Please use our chat box to communicate us with us. Or what is it that you used the time we were under COVID-19 level? What did you use, or what did you need to work remotely? So let me just give you what you need to, some of the things that you need to work remotely with. A dedicated space. So when we're talking about the dedicated space, is a space to separate work from home, which if you are a woman, most of the time is very difficult, but it needs you to have what, more of a discipline. You need to discipline yourself. So you need a space, maybe a corner somewhere in your house where you won't get distracted to say, okay, let me just do these 2 or 3 dishes. And then you need a devices. So with devices, because you are working at home, doesn't mean you will be sleeping or you'll be working from sitting on your bed. No, you will need what, technology that will help you to connect, to collaborate, and you work so that you can able to get in touch with the people that you are working with your colleagues, with the people that you are actually need to share some documents with. And then again, you need what, a stable internet. So because we know that when we are working at offices, what happens is that you are face to face, physically, you can able to talk to each other. And then now you are at home right now, you can able to just call, talk to that person. You can able to call, but there are certain things that they will need a internet where you need to share some document with it. So working remotely, you need to get a dedicated space, you need to get devices, and you need to get what, a stable internet connection. So now let's talk about how you create your own space. As I have mentioned it, that you need to find a space in your house where you will feel more productive. We all know that if you get you need to avoid certain actually furnitures to work. Your bed, your couch, no, that is a no, because you'll fall asleep while you are working. What you need actually, you need a setup table or a chair, and then you make sure that the space is comfortable, and consider your posture, because you'll be working remotely. You may have those what do you call, uh online meetings. You'll need to switch on your cameras so that they can able to see. So you can't be sitting on a bed to find that there is a headboard there and your posture is something else. So those you are talking to, if maybe you are looking for uh, um, you are proposing something, and then you find that those people, they find that you are not even ready for it because of how you presented yourself. So you need to create that great space for your work space when you are working remotely. So now let's talk about the physical equipment you might need. Obviously you will need a cell phone. You will need a computer, you will need a notebook, the notebook. So now with your cell phone, you may find that they are calling you, you need to answer your calls, you need to communicate with your teammates on chat, and with your computer, which is the laptop, you need to work on a multiple documents, video calls and conferencing, as I said. And then most of the laptops comes with a webcam, and then is where you need to set it in an angle that you look more presentable, which has got a good lighting, and then your background need to be clear to see that no, you are working, because you are at home, you are working remotely doesn't mean you are on holidays. And also your notebook, it is where you will keep your notes down. You need to dodge so those important information that you need to do, things to do, and the ideas of your next presentation, or what you need to do at your work, that time of work. And then get stable power. This one will be more challenging for us South Africans, because all know about load shedding. We go with stages. Find that at 10 o'clock we're in stage 3. So when working at home, what you need to make sure that your generator set is working. If you got a generator at work, make sure that all that time of your working, please make sure that you switch it on, and try a solar divide inverter. So if you are using a solar powered place, make sure that the inverter is fine. And then for your phones, your power banks, they are always what charged, because you need to be in touch, and always make sure that you are working, and then you are sending those documents for your teammates. Find a sufficient internet connection. So when you need to find that internet connection, so the among most basic necessity for working is a stable network connection, which again, if we have a load shedding, network normally give us a problem. So but you need, how you can able to find a good connection, you need to choose the right ISP, and consider the alternative IIPs if the network service provider that you are using is not well connecting where you are. And also you need to find the right router. You may find that the router that you are using, the signal is a little bit weak, so you need to find a good router. And then the plug-in router too is good for your business. And also, before you start in the morning, make sure that you do what? You test. You test the speed of your internet. So when you need to test that speed, you need to use the facts, or your Google internet speed, to test or compare the internet speed across your ISP. This will help you to ensure that the internet speed is fast, and you will not it will not affect your workflow. And now I have another question. What are the challenges of working remotely? Please share with us, what are those challenges that you may face um, when you are working remotely. Remember, most of the time, if you are working remotely, you may opt to sit at home. And at home, if you are not staying alone, there's some people that are working with you, or they are staying with you actually. What are the challenges that you can able to share with us? And then what were your challenges the time we were in lockdown? You can share with us. So this is where my challenges that I faced the most. Please use our chat box, because this today's session is more of us individually while we were at home, or right now. There are still people who are working at home. because of certain challenges at where they are working, find that a person just opt to work at home because of the rising of petrol. And then that comes in sometimes in handy to say, okay, let me just opt to work from home. I'll share and I'll schedule some meetings online, and I'll be on my phone wherever you are needed me. So let's share, what are the challenges of working remotely? What were your challenges as individual when you were working remotely? So now let me share the challenges that um, of working remotely. So let's talk about loneliness. Remember when you were at office, most of the office you may not get lonely. So loneliness is one of the major the drawback of remote work, especially for extrovert, those who are not talking a lot. So if you are used to office chat, so you may find that working from home is lonely. Actually, you get lonely. However, if you're thinking working alone affect your productivity, you can go to a restaurant or a place where you'll be able to communicate with people. And the second one, it will be challenges is a self-discipline. So when you're talking about self-discipline, you may find that you are at home, and then there's this beautiful series that comes a certain time, and you're kind of able to contain yourself. You just say, let me just switch on this for this 30 minutes. I'll quickly go back to work. And then that 30 minutes become an hour, become 2 hours, and find that your workflow is piled up. Your work is getting piled up. So with your self-discipline, you need a dedicated discipline and self-control to avoid losing the momentum while working from home. Sometimes this self-discipline, it does even affect when you are at the office. You may find that you lost yourself in a cell phone. You want to check on the internet what is going on Facebook, everywhere that normally get. So this one needs a person who's dedicated and who can able to do it self-control. And now let's talk about the no employee benefit. There's some of the employees, when you go to work, there's opportunities that they are giving to them. So when immediately when you are the challenge of working from home, you may lose the employee benefit. So you won't have employee benefit like health insurance or retirement fund. So through the work at home, opportunities in some of the countries provide what medical coverage. The same you can say when it working online. So it will be what difficult to switch off your cell phone. So when it will be more of so hard to switch off. So you find that you still want to work as you are at the office. When you are working in your office, you are most likely conscious of closing time. So that not always the case when you work remotely. We know that immediately when you're working remotely, you like to work a lot. Like you work even after hours, you work more. So when you are working remotely, the line between work and home life, so it is more difficult to balance it. Since you are working from your dining room, you might not find it easy to do what to disengage yourself from work. And now let's talk about the FOMO. So the FOMO, it means fear of losing out. So missing those things. Some people, they have a fear of missing out on the social medias. The person is constantly on Instagram. This person is constantly want to know what is going in, what is going on outside. So The FOBO is more of when you are working remotely, it could be you feel left out occasionally when you miss out on important announcement, meetings, event in your office. So you will mostly be at the last person to hear your office, to hear about the upcoming event, the important announcement. However, with a software like Slack, you can also update yourself while you are working remotely. So now let's talk about what are the benefits of remote working. What are the benefits of remote working? What would the most benefit? Because everything got that benefit. So now let's talk about that. So when you are working remotely, flexibility. That's very nice because you can wake up. We can also flexibility doesn't mean when you're working remotely you must not take bath. You make sure that you take bath in the morning. You put on those beautiful fresh clothes so that you can be more productive. So sometimes are the thing just you need to do for home. So whether it is waiting to repair service, so when you are flexible at home, you can still do certain things. You can still um wash those dishes, and then you can still do the orders, and then you find that your parcel is being delivered. You can go around doing your laundry, receiving online grocery deliveries. So those are the benefit of working remotely. And then there's no commuting. There's no that time of where you from home you go to work. So that time that you will spend commuting from house to work is the time that you will be working. So there's you'll be making sure that time you start on your work. So you'll work from home. You can be at your decks, and then you can be at your table ready to work within few minutes of waking up. So you can even schedule some meditation or exercise before you get stuck into the task. So that time that you were using it to from home to work, you can use that time to do what, to meditate, to do some exercises before you start with your work. Now time with your family, so you can have enough time with your family, and then while you are working, but they can be destructive. um with some of the willpower and steady routine, you can soon learn to avoid being distracted by TV, as I said, the next load of laundry. In fact, you should find yourself getting more done with your work remotely. So you must avoid those kind of things. And then, but while you are working, you can put those laundry inside your machine while it's doing the laundry, and then you are busy working. So you can do jack of all trade at the same time. You can remote and need really what concentrate. You can just change your status on the group, chat, do not disturb, and buckle down. And then also let's talk about the less distraction. As I said, most of the distractions will be your TV. You are if you got children inside the house, they may come and ask some question while you are in the meetings. We have seen some. It's more of videos while the father or mother they are working, and the children will be coming inside because they don't know much, but you can able to talk to the person who's around that this is the time for me to work. Please make sure that I don't get distracted. Now let's talk about the last one of the benefits of working remotely. Is the high morale. So when we talk about the high morale, is where you remote employee are what less stress and high morale than in the office corporate. So you need to be with happier, healthier employees, produce better, and you feel more committed to your companies from the perspective of remote work in a good business. So these are the what you are the benefit of working remotely for employees. Now let's talk about the benefit or of remote working for business. So when you are working for business, we'll be talking about reduce overwork costs, overhead costs. So when we reduce over work costs, we are talking about these are the time that can make a significant impact of overwork. So for many startup, paying high rents, places are heavily burdened at their budget, forcing them to do what? To cut vital area of their business. This not only to save rent costs, it also save utilities and resources. So for the business, they will do what? They are benefiting because most of the utilities that they've been using, the lights, the water, it will be reduced. And now let's talk about the greater productivity from high engagement of overwork. So there'll be a more greater of what? Of greater productivity. So there, let's talk about the access to wider pool of talent. So by this, we are talking about by allowing employee to work remotely, employers can hire the best talented while not limiting themselves by the location that is restricted. So they can able to hire a person who's highly qualified and then from any part of the world because they'll be working remotely, and also promote diversity as different people from what? Different places. So on that they can able to do what? To improve on how they engage to each other. So they'll come with different ideas so that the company can grow. And lastly, it improve employee retention. So there it is where we can find out on uh, how the business are what working, the benefit of remote working for business. I'll pause for questions if we have any questions of all the questions that have been asked on how can COVID impacted your role. So we don't have any question, we don't have any comment. And then what do you need to work what do you need to work remotely? And then again, the last one we said, what are the challenges of working remotely? So we don't have any question and comment. Please use our chat box to communicate with us. Please engage on the topics that we are in because I believe that it affected or it still affects some of us. You find that you even at work you are still having challenges of being distracted. Share some story with us on how the COVID-19 has affected your impacted your role as a person. Okay, now let's move on to our next topic, which is build a productive work environment. Why your work environment is important. So the quality of your workspace is vital to productivity. So you need as designated an area where you need to work at. On that area, make sure you put all the fun things that enhance your mood. Your pictures of your loved ones. Maybe you can able to put nice um, flowers, or we put little bit of something there that really will take all the disturbance on you, and then you concentrate on your work. Find the right chair for you. As we have mentioned that uh, a couch and a bed is a no-go area. You need to avoid that. And you need to do what? To create area of your own to work. It can be the countertop in the kitchen where your laptop is, or a corner of the house where you can able to get a nice network. And again, you can find the what? A beautiful things. You can develop that feeling system to keep what? Organized. When you are in that kind of a place where it will enhance all your productivity. And then now 40% decrease in productivity due to workplace distraction and 27% increase in errors. What does all this mean? So when you found your, so this is according to the research study of on the affected of work environmental environment on productivity. So the less distraction, the good productivity a person can be. So I have another question for us. How can you minimize distractions? How can you minimize distractions? So there are steps to minimize distraction. Let other know your work, your work hours, and do one thing at a time. Avoid TV and household distraction. Put away all pets and also take regular breaks. So these are the steps to minimize your distraction. Make sure that everyone that are around you, your neighbors and everyone knows that you are at work. You are working now. You may be inside the house, but it's a time for you to work. And then make sure that everything that you do, take one at a time, because you may find that at the end of the day, you get a lot of work and then you don't complete it. How can you improve productivity within the team? This is a good one. How can you improve productivity within the team? So let's talk about the project management. So remote team member used to able to plan and collaborate on commitments, deliverables, and tasks. They can also need to track the flow of work from start to finish. So the first you need to establish vision and deliverables. You need to establish logistic for teams communication. You need to promote the visibility and transparency of all your work. Track the quality and the status of the project, and also identify and address the bottlenecks. So these are the steps or the points where you can able to improve your work with your team. So 70% of the work mistakes are due to poor communication. Communication plays a fundamental role in daily lives. For some, good communication comes naturally, but for others, it can be hard to articulate their thought and feelings in the conversation, so often leading toward conflict and fundamental errors. So whether you are an effective communicator or not, it is essential to understand the importance of good communication and how can it help you to move forward in the working environment. So all we need to do is what is communication. We need to communicate with our workmates. So now let's talk about the general communication. So strong communication is integral to business success. Email for more formal conversation, instant messaging platform for fast conversation, and collaboration tool for work project. We all know, or we have once come across this kind of apps where we can able to do what, to communicate with our teammates. And we need to do what, to set rules to communicate effectively. So in order to communicate, to be more effective, you need to set rules. To communicate clearly, think about the type of message and content. Remember, we are all in what? In workspace. We need to communicate on what will be our next step. What is it that is needed for us to move on as a team? And again, we talk about respond promptly. So some people, you may send a message, they will read that the instant message, they will read, they will just, we say it's blue tick, they will blue tick you for over 45 minutes without even stating their challenges of why am I not responding quicker. So you need to make sure that while we are working, answer those, respond to those messages so that we know what are your challenges, and set a role model, the guideline. So while we are working like that, make sure that you need to guide on this is what I'm having, your feedback, deadline, reminder. Consider your what do you call your teammate. Make sure your message is appropriate. Let everyone, when they are reading all your messages, they know that okay, this is more of work than other things that may affect your work progression. Now let's talk about the video meeting and calls. So video meetings and calls enable teams to communicate and collaborate in a real time. So you connect to teams working remotely, improve level of communication, and also it boosts your collaboration. So when you are working from home, now and then set up video meetings. Let all people collaborate on it. Let's brainstorm. Can use other effects of apps where we can brainstorm, and also we need to communicate on how are we doing with our work, so that everyone they're in same page. So one of the most effective for video calling, and also you can do the instant message, is Meet. Google Meet keep your team connected with what enterprise grade video conferencing is a built on Google robust and secure global infrastructure. So it meets include with your G Suite and G Suite for education. It is very good for your collaboration, the Google Meet. And now let's talk about the Zoom. So Zoom is an application that you can download it either on your desktop or your mobile device. You can request a demo and even download it for free. You can use the Zoom to host or join meetings. With it too, you can able to share some work that you are busy with, giving each other a chance to share what you are busy with. And up to 100 people can join on online, whether a class meeting in a free mode. They will give you a certain minutes for you to complete that for free. Now is a what beautiful app again, which is your Microsoft Teams. So with your Microsoft Teams, it enables business to collaborate, communicate with team members across the world. And it creates team channels to organize your department. So with Teams, you can able to have different channels of your different sub project. So you can have the people that they are busy with the content. You can have people that they are busy with a certain project in your organization, by what grouping them with channels. And also you can utilize the chat, the video call function to boost your communication. This is one of the beautiful apps that is generally that most of the companies they are using it, because it got all those functions that is so comfortable for people to use. It's user friendly for most of the people that cannot able to they are not into ICT, but it's very good for business people to communicate. You can able to share document, collaborate with ease when you are using your your Microsoft Teams. Now let's talk about the Skype. So with Skype is a video chat app. It will have to access variety innovative features. So this one, if you are, for example, your WhatsApp is not working, or maybe you have, so one of the fabulous app ever that they can do the instant messaging. You can group as like the same as WhatsApp. You can have your videos, you can have everything, you can share documents. So it's a massive full screen video, which is used internationally everywhere you are. They're using the Skype for beautiful video chat. You can send chat, invite to anyone, and the background blur. So these are the what is one. This is one of those apps that you can able to use when you are using your when you are working remotely. So now let's talk about how to run effective meetings. So the step to run effective meetings are: get agendas, consider your tone of voice, encourage using cameras, and be timely. So when you're talking about get agendas, there was this one time I had this guy. He was so frustrated. He was from work, and then he was just moaning about how the meeting take long, and then there was no conclusion on their meetings. And then what this guy was like, the problem that we encountered that is because there was no agenda. So every time for effective meeting, one need to get what? An agenda. They know after this step what they will be doing, after this what they will be doing. And then talking about consider your tone of voice. We know that while we are working together, there may be some who are in they mistake is been made, and then we need to talk to them in a way that is comfortable for them to understand that this is what is needed to be they have to be doing. And then encourage using cameras. This it will keep us or keep one to take bath, dress properly, because we are working, it's the time to work, but because we are working remotely, doesn't mean that we don't need to dress properly, we don't need to take bath. So encourage them. So because it is more lonely to work at home, if you are staying alone, or it's more I can say more frustrating when working alone and while you are used to be office. By seeing their face, you can able to say, oh, these people, they are healthy, they are beautiful, smiling and cracking some jokes. And also be timely. Find that a person just scheduled a meeting, but at the end of the day you find that they are late to their own meetings. Video conferencing are adequate. So keep to run effective meeting. First, you need to prepare yourself, dress properly, consider your lighting, consider your background, and consider your audio. So these are the 5 um, tips of conferencing etiquette. Because this is not only going to be only your what do you call your team members at the office that you'll be doing. Some that you will told to attend some meetings. So when you are attending that meeting, make sure that these 5 steps are followed, and make sure that everything that you will be doing there, this 5 step is included. Now let's talk about the top tip of collaborating effectively. So first, you need to equip your team with the right tools. We talked about the right tools. We talked about the tools. We talked about the right device, good connection, and also they are in good of a spirit. And then make project management easier. So you must make sure that every project that is needed, what is needed at the project, it has been explained correctly to your employees. And also make document sharing easy and accessible. We talked about some conferencing app that one can use, the Meet, your Skype, your Microsoft Teams. Also, we have some apps that you can able to share it with your teammates. So you might make it very much easier, access them grant when they need to access those shared document. Encourage collaboration within department. So every time make sure that when there is a work that needs to be done, let's all people collaborate on it. Let them brainstorm. And then all the last one, prioritize your company culture. If you, in the mornings on Monday, you also talk about how your weekend was, let it be the same thing. If we are working remotely, Monday, same time that we used to gather in the boardroom, let's do the conference call, and then let's talk about what our weeks are, so that we don't lose that culture of a company. Now, final top tip to productivity: always over communicate. Communicate with your team regularly and keep them in the loop. Let them know where you are. Let them know why they don't see you online. You may be having a load shedding and then we don't know what time you experienced that. By communicating with them that, oh, I just received a schedule that from this time to this time I want able to have some electricity where I'll be, and then maybe you tell them that my laptop at least is fully charged. I'll having 1 hour max to be online, and after that, if you don't see me online, it means I don't have a power on my laptop. So make sure that you communicate regularly with your teammates and be what discipline. Working remotely is not a vacation nor a paid leave. So it doesn't mean if they say work at home is where you'll be so, okay, let me just relax. They will see what I'll do. I'll give 2 hours of work and the rest I'll keep it to myself. So that is very wrong. We must know that immediately they said work from home, from the time that you start to work until the end of the day, you need to be on the your working time, and then let all people know. Have your tools ready for work. Make sure you have tools you need to work remotely. We talked about your laptop, your mobile, and your connection, and find a booster and use it. Use what you get you energized and ready to work when you need it. If you, when you are working, you like listening to the music, that will be a perfect time for you because you're working remotely. It's not like you're working at the office where you'll be putting music and then people say, okay, this is distractive for me, or I can't able to think because of that. So you need to get something that energizes you every time when you're working from home, so that you can concentrate and do your work. I'll pause for questions if we have any question, if um we have any questions, we have any comment. I see we don't have any question, we don't have any comment. Let's just move on. Manage and maintain your well-being. You'll be working from home. Yes, we all know. Why is it important to manage your well-being? Why it is important to manage your well-being? Even when you are working from offices, you need to manage your well-being. So I have this important tips to manage your well-being. The reason why you need to manage your well-being is because it impacts your overall health, it leads to greater productivity, it increases your resilience, it boosts your morale and level of happiness. So it's important to manage your well-being because of these 4 tips. And what do you do to manage your well-being? What is it that you can able to do to manage your well-being? Avoid overworking, take regular breaks. Set up a reminder to take a break. Be clear with your team when you are leaving. Turn off notification when on your break. And you need to schedule an activity like taking a walk, riding a bike, or going to a gym at the end of the day. So this is how you can able to do what? To manage your well-being while working remotely. Be ready for the culture shift. So, to help you embrace your shift, consider the following: trust your overall performance, rethink and concept of work, understand your commitments, and be patient. So, be patient. So, these are what to where you can able to do what, to be ready to culture shift. So these are the 4 things that every time when you are working remotely, you need to consider. Managing your overall well-being. Exercise regularly. Those who love to exercise, jogging out. View mental health to serious as physical health. Also, you need to check in with your manager or team regularly. You need to know what is going on in their lives. Separate your professional and personal life. Organize an in-person social meetup. That is how you can manage your overall well-being. I'll pause for question if we have any questions or any comment on how one has how can you manage your well-being. I see we don't have any question or any comment on the question asked. What will be your next step? What is your next step? So your next step is, how are you going to manage yourself, self-discipline, less of distraction when you are working from home? How you can able to manage your own well-being? What are the apps, or what are the apps that can enable you to know more or to connect with your teammates? How easy it can be to share your what you call your documents with your mates, and what is it that has distracted you most while you are working from home, and what are the things that you feel like you need to change so that your work can be more productive when you are working at home. So consider those apps. Know how to take your well-being seriously, because if you take care of that, your work will be more productive. Please be reminded of the free bootcamp available from Google. Do you own a small business and ready to scale? Please sign up for Google Hustle Academy using the link provided on your screen. Free bootcamp available from Google. If you are ready to scale and you own a small business, sign up for Google Hustle Academy using the link provided on your screen. You can find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are Digital Skills Africa on Twitter. We are Digital Skills for Africa on Facebook, and on Instagram we are Digital Skills Africa. And also you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. We are SchoolNet South Africa. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. I hope you learned more about how you can stay productive online while you are working remotely at home. Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Thank you.